Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to show you guys the process of me doing the coloring portion of this Masaki illustration. So as usual, I'm not showing the sketching portion just because it's usually hard to see my sketch anyways. So yeah, I'm taking a kneaded eraser and lightly erasing my palette Color Eno pencil sketch, and then we can go ahead with coloring. So for coloring, I am going to be using my Prismacolor Premier colored pencils, and they're primarily the only pencil crayons that I usually use because I have collected a few over the few years that I've been using these. And I'm going to be working my Arteza Sketchbook, which has a rough-ish texture, which I find it really fun to work with pencil crayons. So that's what we're going to be doing this time. Similar to the front page of my sketchbook, I'm pretty much using all the same techniques that I usually do. So layering a bunch of different colors. I'm not really pressing hard except for maybe some details like I can't talk. What I'm doing right now, when I was doing the kind of line art for his face, I usually do it for eyes and like outline for clothes and the hair and stuff. But for the most part, I am fairly light with the layering for the most part. Because I don't really like to press super hard and get that weird glossy color blooming thing happening with the pencil crayons. I do prefer to gently layer stuff because it just allows me to add more pigment and more colors to it, which is kind of nice. I do apologize with the contrast and the lighting for this video. I did this over the course of 2 days, and for the most part, the light in my room actually has been out. I think the last 3 to 4 videos before this, actually, the light in this room has been gone, and I've been using 2 different lamps of different brightnesses and trying to get daylight, but I tend to record at night, so there is no daylight, which means that I'm fiddling around with the webcam settings, and that's not going so well. So sometimes it looks okay, sometimes you can tell when the contrast is too high or too low, or if there is a little bit of a difference in saturation and stuff. It's just me fiddling around with the settings, and I do apologize if that really bothers you when viewing something like this. So as you can see, his eyes are actually fairly crooked, and I did my best to, I don't know if it's already fixed because right now to me it doesn't really look fixed, but at some point I actually think I did fix it. Not sure if it's now or it's later. I wasn't really paying attention when I was explaining the whole lighting thing. So I'm actually doing this voiceover for the second time. The first time when I did the voiceover was on this, maybe a day or 2 after I completed this illustration or pencil crayon drawing. But right now I'm doing it about a week and a half after this has been recorded. So I don't remember what I've said in the previous commentary, but the reason why I'm redoing the commentary is because apparently Camtasia lags so bad that there was 2 minutes of me talking that wasn't aligned with the video. Now I could have cut stuff out and tried to align it, but because of how rambly I am, and I think you guys noticed this, that I tend to ramble a lot and just do like straight speaking, rarely any pauses unless like I stutter or say or like so yeah. There we go again. But that's basically the reason why I'm redoing this voiceover, so I do apologize if the things I'm saying seems like very uninteresting, or why I'm not talking about like the problems I had with this illustration or the parts that I really enjoyed, because a lot of it just slipped out of my brain. I did film another video which will be coming out next week, so yeah, I have thoughts about that instead of this one. But looking back at the footage, I'm actually really liking his hair color. I think he looks really cute. I think what I said previously was that his nose becomes an issue a little bit later. I believe I go in to darken his nose even more with a red, which means it looks really like more saturated and a little bit more bulbous. And now I think I said this in a previous video that I really like usually the bulbous nose, like a really kind of cute blushy nose with like a highlight, but this one I went overboard. So in the footage when I do tweak his nose, please ignore that. In the final footage when I do close-ups, I believe I took a kneaded eraser and like blotted his nose so that it's lighter, and it won't be in the final version hopefully. So here I'm just layering a bunch of turquoises, a little bit of blues to do his sweater. I actually really love the color of his sweater. It just looks really nice using like a lot of the dark blues along with the turquoise to really deepen it. It just looks really nice. So I actually had a lot of fun working on the flowers in this illustration, if I can remember correctly. So I had a reference, or a few references of, I think they're supposed to be peonies. I didn't draw them very well. Initially when I had them sketched out, they actually looked quite pretty, but when I started to color them, because I erased a bunch of the graphite, I couldn't see where specific lines were. Now, in general, I have a love-hate relationship with drawing flowers. I actually really like how flowers look and like the colors and like how organic they look. But for me, in terms of like painting or coloring, I tend to mess it up then. So yeah, you guys can watch me kind of struggle with picking colors or trying to figure out how I want to color the flowers, which I think is coming up pretty soon. I'm just fixing his hand. Let's talk about that hand though. The one that's holding the single flower, that hand is gross. I don't like that hand at all. I don't remember if I think I was supposed to take a reference photo, but I decided not to, and I winged it, which makes it look really bad. So I should have took a reference of my own hand in that pose and tried to draw that instead. So for the peony-like flowers, I used a lot of reds, yellow, orange, and pinks for them, just to give a little bit more contrast in terms of the colors. Initially, I was going to use lots of pinks and reds for this, just because I like to complement turquoise, like a turquoise color or like a mint color with usually reds and pinks or like oranges. But this time I decided to pull it back a little bit and do mostly oranges and yellows. And I actually think I do like the result in the end. At first they look really weird because of maybe how harsh the outline is. But once I start darkening some stuff up with a little bit of other pencil crayons and adding a little bit of purple to deepen some shadows, it looks a little bit better. I think I figured out how I wanted to render them a little bit too late, which is kind of sad because I rendered pretty much like all of them, all those ones anyways. See, with the purple it makes it look a little bit better. Makes it look a little bit more graphic, but I feel like that's just how I like to render things. I like to add line weight and darken up like corners or any lines where they meet. It's just a habit I have. I like doing that with like graphite drawings, watercolor drawings, some like painting sometimes, but yeah. For the most part, I had a lot of fun working on this. My mind is kind of just cluttered with things I want to draw, but just having little time to do them. I actually haven't been drawing in my sketchbook too much. I've been working mostly on commission work and some zine stuff. So both zines for group zines. So I'm part of another 17 zine, as well as I am making my own 17 D8 fashion zine. So I've been doing a lot of like chibi versions of his outfits. I'm going to be doing some digital spreads for his outfits, as well as, or like outfits from certain eras. I'm going to be doing or compiling some sketches from previous sketchbooks. I'm going to be doing some maybe watercolor, simple sketches and stuff. I would like to do a good job on this zine, but I'm having a hard time being able to allow things to be in the zine. I had a lot of ideas of like previous sketches or things that I wanted to include, but now that I am looking at other people's zines, I've come to hate my own sketches and stuff. I just feel like they don't fit in the zine because of like I'm poor at editing, so I just really need to sit down, edit stuff out, stop throwing away certain drawings and just allow them to be the way they are in the zine. Because I think people are aware that I think the front half of the zine will be mostly the chibi watercolor illustrations of various outfits he's worn in the past, whether they're from performances or airport fashions or just outfits that Minghao has worn in the past. And then the later half will be like spreads and compilations of a bunch of different outfits that I've drawn as well, but they're like in more of a sketchy kind of sketch stump way. Oh, I haven't been looking at the video, but I actually really like how I rendered the leaves in this video, or in this illustration. I really like using that ultramarine color to deepen the greens and kind of push some things like backwards so that some leaves can pop forward, some of the stems look like they're really receding a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of my ramble about my zine. I'm still thinking of how to sort that out because that is going to be my first zine that I'm formatting, and I would like to do another zine. I have two zines in mind that I want to do after this The 8th zine. One is a full color, full illustration based on Wonu. So I want them to be chibi artworks of just full colored stuff. Now I'm not sure how long or big the zine's gonna be. It will be a square format zine, but I'm not too fixed on how many pages. For the Minghao zine, or like the D8 fashion zine, I would like it to be perfect bound, so I need to hit a threshold about 38 pages, I believe. I'm aiming for 44 pages, including the front and back cover. So yeah, fingers crossed that I can hit that threshold. But yeah, I wouldn't mind for the Wonu zine to be smaller and have it be stapled. And then in the future, once I've drawn Masaki, Koji, and Sato and Hansuke more, I would like to do an OC zine. I know a lot of you guys actually really adore my OCs, and I'm really happy that you guys do, but I'm not sure if I have enough of them to be in a zine, as well as I'm not sure if people would be interested in buying one of my OCs, because majority of my followers follow me for 17 stuff, so I'm not too sure. We will see. So yeah, I'm just finishing up that last flower. We're actually coming to the end of the video pretty soon. I'm sorry if my videos are rambly. It just kind of happens because I feel like I have nothing important to say, so I tend to just speak my mind. But yeah, finishing up by darkening some shadows, adding some pink. I believe I'm going to add some purples to this as well to deepen up the shadows. And I think we're pretty much done after I botch up his face with that red pencil crayon that I will erase. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the process for the most part. But yeah, here he is in his full glory, I guess. I'll talk to you guys next week with another video. Bye!